Hello everyone. My name is Aaron, and I grew up in a small, forgotten village tucked somewhere deep in rural America. It's the kind of place where everyone knows each other's business, where life is slow, and where the nights are so quiet you can hear your own heartbeat. My childhood was simple, until my mom died. She passed away when I was 17. Cancer. I remember holding her hand in those last moments, promising her I'd take care of Dad. We survived the first year together, just him and me in that creaky old house on the edge of town. Dad worked at the local hardware store, and I took odd jobs at the diner. We managed. We were lonely, but we managed. Then, about 3 years after Mom's death, Dad met her. It was a late autumn evening when Dad came home with a stranger. I remember it vividly. I was sitting in the living room, the smell of microwaved mac and cheese filling the air, when I heard the front door creak open. "Aaron," Dad called, "come meet someone." She stepped inside, and I swear the entire house seemed to change temperature. She was beautiful. Not in a normal, girl-next-door way, her beauty was unnerving. Her skin was pale but flawless, her hair long and black as midnight, and her eyes, God, her eyes, they looked like they had seen centuries. "This is, Evelyn," Dad said, almost shyly. "I met her at the gas station. She didn't have anywhere to go. So I invited her over for dinner." I raised an eyebrow. "The gas station?" But Dad's voice was warm, and Evelyn smiled at me with this softness that felt wrong somehow. 2 weeks later, Dad announced they were married. No church wedding, no family gathering, just a paper from the courthouse. It shocked me. Dad wasn't the impulsive type, and yet, here he was, married to a woman whose last name I didn't even know. From the very beginning, she fit into the house like she'd always been there. She cooked, she cleaned, she sat beside Dad on the couch every night. And she never seemed to sleep. I'd wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. to get water and find her just sitting in the kitchen, staring at nothing, like she was listening to something I couldn't hear. It started small. Dad would get sick every now and then, pale, dizzy, tired. But after a full moon night in November, it became more alarming. I found him sitting at the table, head in his hands, skin as white as paper. When he reached for his coffee, his sleeve slipped down, and I saw them. 2 small puncture marks on the side of his neck. "Dad," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "what happened here?" He glanced down, almost annoyed, and muttered, "Just a scratch. Stop worrying." But the marks looked too clean, too deliberate. And then, it happened again the next month. I kept track. Every full moon, Dad got weaker. And every full moon, I'd catch Evelyn looking healthier. Her skin would almost glow. One night, I stayed up and watched from my room. At exactly 2:14 a.m. She crept into Dad's room. I followed silently, my heart pounding, and peeked through the crack in the door. What I saw still makes me cold. Her face was pressed against Dad's neck, and she was drinking. Not kissing. Not biting playfully. Drinking. I must have made a noise because she stopped and turned her head towards me. Her mouth glistened, and there was blood. I couldn't tell Dad, he'd never believe me. So I called my mom's older brother, Uncle Daniel. Uncle Daniel was a strange man. He was deeply religious, but not in the Sunday church way. He believed in things most people laughed at: demons, spirits, curses. When I told him everything, he went silent for a long time. Then he said, "Aaron, your father's wife is not a woman. She's a blood drinker. Not exactly a vampire from movies, but close enough." He explained that these beings feed on life energy through blood, and that they often disguise themselves to prey on lonely men. How do we stop her? I asked. You can't, not just any time, he replied. She has to be in her true form, and that only happens under the full moon. When she changes, you must strike her with something made from the bones of a holy person, blessed and prepared with sacred words. Daniel took me to his basement and pulled out a long, thin spear wrapped in black cloth. The tip was bone, carved and polished, etched with strange markings. This belonged to a priest who fought creatures like her in Europe, he said. It's the only thing that will burn her from the inside out. We planned for the next full moon. We would not tell Dad. We couldn't risk her knowing. The night arrived. The air was cold, and the full moon hung like a silver coin in the black sky. Dad went to bed early, exhausted. Evelyn disappeared into the living room, pacing like a restless animal. At midnight, the change began. Her eyes darkened, her nails lengthened into claws, and her mouth twisted into something that no longer looked human. Her beauty evaporated. She was a predator now. Daniel whispered, "Wait, wait until she bends over him." She leaned down over Dad, her mouth opening unnaturally wide, revealing long, thin teeth. "Now!" Daniel shouted. I lunged with the spear, but she turned at the last second. Her clawed hand slashed the air, and suddenly I felt something invisible slam into me. I flew back, my head cracking against the wall. Daniel swung the spear, managing to nick her shoulder. She screamed, a sound like 100 voices wailing at once, and the smell of burning flesh filled the room. But she was fast. She knocked Daniel over, his weapon skidding across the floor. Before she could reach him, I grabbed the spear, ran forward, and drove it straight into her chest. Her eyes went wide. She let out a final, ear-splitting scream before bursting into black smoke that smelled of rot and iron. When the smoke cleared, she was gone. Dad woke up the next morning looking better than he had in months. When we told him what happened, he just laughed. "Very funny, Aaron," he said. "And Evelyn? Who's Evelyn?" We froze. He looked at us like we were insane. "I never married anyone," he said. "I've been alone since your mother died." But there had been photographs. I ran to the living room where a framed picture of Dad and Evelyn had been, and the frame was empty. Her clothes, her belongings, even her scent, all gone. Like she had never existed. It's been 3 years since that night. I still live in the same house. Sometimes, on cold full moon nights, I swear I hear soft footsteps in the hallway, and a woman's voice humming in the dark. I don't know how she came into our lives. I don't know what she really was. And I don't know why, even now, some nights I dream of her face, beautiful and terrible, leaning over me in the dark. What I do know is this: my father's wife never existed. And yet, she almost killed him. If you've ever seen someone who doesn't quite belong, someone too perfect to be real, don't look away.